why don't we do this stuff? Why is it so easy to do, but we don't do it? I think one thing could be that the temptation of mammon is so high. I think that the idea of getting something for yourself that you really, really want could be a really high temptation, even if it's at the expense of your brothers and sisters. Like the temptation of so much money could be more worth it to you, and selling a product that's bad. Like it could be more worth it to you than just making your product good, because making your product good is going to be more expensive. And so you might as well just sell a bad product and get a lot of money, and that's good enough. That's why I think it says a lot in the Bible, you can't serve God and mammon. Serving mammon is like going for it. What you're going for in life is mammon. I mean, you can go for what you're going for in life. You can go for God. You can go for the Jesus stuff. You can go for, I don't know, nature. Who knows? But if you're going for mammon, then you're not going for God. I think the temptation is super high. There was a time in my life, really one of the most shameful times, in jail. I was indigent, so that means I didn't have any money or anything. Nothing on my books. $0. I was homeless when I got to jail. I had nothing. So I can't buy treats and candy off the commissary. They feed me from the trays. That's really great. Jail food's super good. At least it was back then. And there's a dessert and stuff sometimes. Oh man. When I got to prison, I think they said they had to start locking the Little Debbie cage. Like they put the Little Debbies in a cage and they locked it because the women are getting too fat. I mean, that happened. So like we did get treats and stuff, but you can't get all the time treats, and your cellmate might have money on their books and they're getting like candy bars and stuff every week. Not me. I had to just sit there and hope somebody was nice enough to give me one, because I also didn't have any kind of hustle at all. I didn't know how to braid hair, and I didn't have anything to trade, so I was just kind of there. Sometimes people took pity on me though, and one time the ladies, we're all sitting around and they're like, oh, have you ever had a Cadillac? And I was like, no, it's a treat. Okay, it's the name of a treat. Like, oh, okay, well, we're gonna give you've got to try it. We'll give you the ingredients and then you can go make it. And you're not supposed to share food in jail. I think it's because people will trade contraband for like treats. So you're not allowed to share treats, but we sneakily were able to do this. They were sneaky, gave me, one side of a Swiss roll. So they come in packs of 2, right? The Swiss rolls and the nutty bars, they come in 2 packs. So I got one of the sides of a Swiss roll and one of the sides of a nutty bar. And they said, what you do is you break the nutty bar up into all its sections, and then you break the Swiss roll apart. You kind of unroll the Swiss roll, and then you layer the Swiss roll in between the layers of the nutty bar. It's called a Cadillac. And I was like, this sounds amazing. It's even more amazing when you're in jail and indigent, because you have nothing, you have no money, you have no treats, you're just stuck there. So that was amazing. That was the most amazing treat of my life. And so I get into my cell. I was so excited. And now this is the shameful experience. This is the shameful part. This is my huge amount of shame. My celly was also indigent. So we were in the same boat. I think she'd been there, I don't know, same time or longer than me or something. Like we're there a long time, a while. She was also indigent. And we had talked already, like, oh, if I get something, I'll share with you. And if you get something, share with me, right? We had already talked about this. And I got this treat. It was so amazing. I had full intentions of sharing it. She was asleep in her bunk, and I climbed up into my bunk, and I started to make this Cadillac. And I made it, and it was just so good. I ate the whole thing. I didn't share it with her at all. And I think she knew. I think she was fake sleeping. I think she was sad about that. I was sad about that. I ate the whole thing, and then I felt so terrible. I felt so guilty. It was one of the worst things I've ever done. And it seems so simple. It's like, oh, is that the worst thing you've ever done? No, it's literally not, like, objectively the worst thing I've ever done. But, like, in the moment, knowing, like, my celly's heart, knowing her, where she was at, knowing her situation, knowing my situation, knowing the situation of the girls out there who were probably someone expecting me to share. And I didn't share. And that was really, really bad. Like, that was one of the worst things I've ever done. That might be the worst thing I've ever done. I don't know. It was bad, though. It was really bad. I still feel a lot of guilt for that. And there's no way to make up for that. I can't find these people again, you know. I can pay it forward, but there's really no paying it back, is there? That's the kind of thing. That's like in the God realm. It's like, there's really no paying it back. There's really no paying back sin. You do the things you feel bad for, and then you did them. It's written in the book of life. It's down. It's there. It happened. It is how the molecules of this world got arranged. You arrange the molecules in that certain way, and they are arranged that way now. There is no going back. The bird of freedom only flies in one direction. There is no going back. There is no return trip. There is only one direction, and it's forward, and that's where we go. And here we are. The arrangement of molecules are here now. This is how they've been arranged. We've all chosen it to be this way. This is what we have now. It's written. It's set literally in stone. Okay. So what can I do? I can pray for forgiveness. I can ask God to forgive me. I have a promise that I am forgiven. I feel forgiven, but I still feel bad about it. I've learned from it. It's something I'll carry with me forever, but it's a deep learning. It's something that happened. It's a choice I made, a mistake, and there's no going back. There's no making it right. There's no making up for it. There's only forgiveness and moving on. And that's how it is. And we need to do that for each other too. So when I think about my brothers and sisters who sin against me, I kind of think of that sometimes, the Jesus stuff where he's like, oh, you know, I've forgiven these giant sins of yours. You're going to hold a grudge against your brother for like $5? Like, geez, I forgave you $100,000 of your debt, and you're going to take him to prison for $5? Stop this. Like, you need to knock that off. Verily I say to you, you're going to prison too. If you don't forgive this, you need to forgive them, or you're also going to find yourself in a pit. You know, that's true. Forgiveness is very important, and it's important that we forgive each other as well. Not just asking forgiveness from God for our own sins, which is important and is crucial and is necessary for growth and moving forward, but also forgiving our brothers and sisters when they mess up, because they're going to mess up against us as well. And likely, none of their sins against you will add up in your mind to the sins you've done, because the sins you've done are going to feel like so much more intense. You feel it so hard, so stronger. Like that situation with the candy bar, it's just a candy bar, right? But for me, in my situation, that was a big deal. That was a really big deal. When the chips are down, it showed my character. It showed who I really was. I was more interested in mammon than God at that moment. I wasn't thinking about God at all. I wasn't thinking about sharing and loving my brother, my sister. I was focused on my wants, my lusts, my natural man, my desire. And it was shameful. And I did give in to the natural man at that moment. So that's what we do. You know, we make mistakes. Sometimes catastrophic mistakes. We just have to figure out how to move on from that. And knowing that it is possible to move on. And that's why I believe it's so important, and it's written in the Book of Mormon a whole bunch of times, and in the Bible probably a few times, that we need the scriptures, we need Jesus, we need to talk about Jesus and learn of Jesus, talk in Christ, learn of Christ, so that our children will know whom to look for a remission of their sins, how to look for a remission of their sins. It's important. It's maybe the only way to move forward.